We spend our lives trembling at the wrong shadows. We build bunkers of concrete and lead to hide from nuclear fire. We catalog the orbits of asteroids that might one day strike the Earth, calculating their trajectories with fearful precision. We dread the slow, choking death of climate change, the rising oceans, or the cold, microscopic silence of a pandemic. These are human fears. They are small. They are local. They leave ruins behind. They leave ash. They leave a history for archaeologists to find. But the universe holds a weapon far more efficient than any atomic bomb. A weapon that does not leave ruins. It does not leave ash. It does not leave a fossil record. It simply presses delete. It is called vacuum decay. And the mathematics of the Standard Model, the most successful theory in human history, suggests that it could happen today, right now. While you are listening to this sentence, without warning, without pain, without mercy, you would not see it coming. You would simply cease to be. The laws of physics that hold your atoms together would unravel at the speed of light. One moment there is a star, a planet, a person. The next moment there is a different kind of nothing. To understand this terror, you must first understand the ground you stand on. I do not mean the dirt, the rock, or the tectonic plates. I mean the very fabric of reality. You believe that empty space is empty. You believe that the vacuum is a void, a stage where matter dances. This is a lie. The vacuum is not empty. It is a field. Specifically, it is the Higgs Field. Think of the Higgs Field like the surface of a frozen, invisible ocean. Everything in the universe sits on top of this ice. The electrons spinning in your body, the quarks binding the atomic nucleus, the photons of light streaming from the sun, they all interact with this field. The Higgs field is the giver of mass. It is the resistance you feel when you push an object. It is the reason you have weight. It is the reason gravity can grab hold of you and keep you tethered to the earth. Without this field, you would not be solid matter. You would be a cloud of massless radiation flying apart at the speed of light, unable to form a single atom. The stability of your existence, the solidity of your hand, depends entirely on the stability of this field. We assume the ice is solid. We assume it is thick. We assume it goes all the way to the bottom of the ocean. But what if the ice is thin? What if there is a deeper, darker ocean beneath it? In physics, we describe energy states like a landscape, a series of valleys and hills. Nature is lazy. It always wants to roll the ball down to the bottom of the deepest valley. It wants to reach the lowest possible energy state. We call this the true vacuum. It is the state of perfect rest, perfect stability, the bottom of the well. For a long time, we believed our universe was in this true vacuum. We thought we were at the bottom. But in 2012, we smashed particles together and found the Higgs boson. We measured its mass. And when we plugged that number into the equations, the result was terrifying. It suggests that we are not at the bottom. We are in a false vacuum. We are resting on a little ledge halfway up the cliff face. We are not on solid ground. We are balancing on a tightrope over an abyss. And below us, deep below us, is the true vacuum, the place where the laws of physics are different. This is the concept of metastability. To understand it, imagine a glass of water that is supercooled. You can lower the temperature of very pure water below freezing to -10, -20 degrees and it will remain liquid. It looks stable. You can look at it, shake it gently, and it seems like normal water, but it is a lie. It is metastable. It is desperate to freeze. All it needs is a single trigger, a speck of dust, a tap on the glass, a vibration. And instantly the ice crystal forms. The stability collapses. The liquid turns solid in a flash of white. Our universe is that supercooled water. The Higgs field is maintaining a value that is not the lowest possible value. It is false. It is holding a tremendous amount of potential energy, tension, waiting to be released. And just like the supercooled water, all it needs is a trigger, a nucleation point, a single spot in the vast cosmos where the field slips, where the ball rolls off the ledge and falls into the true vacuum. If that slip happens anywhere in the universe, in a distant galaxy, or in your own living room, it creates a bubble of the true vacuum. This is not a bubble of air. It is a bubble of new physics. Inside this bubble, the Higgs field drops to its lowest energy state. This releases a titanic amount of energy, hotter than the Big Bang. The wall of the bubble becomes a wave of destruction moving at the speed of light. It expands in all directions. It eats space-time. And because it moves at the speed of light, you cannot see it coming. Light cannot outrun it to warn you. You could be looking at the sky, admiring the stars, thinking about the future, and the bubble could be 1 meter away from your eye and you would not know. Then in the next nanosecond it passes through you. But passes through is the wrong phrase. It rewrites you. The laws of chemistry depend on the mass of the electron. The mass of the electron depends on the current value of the Higgs field. When the bubble hits, the value of the Higgs field changes. Instantly, the mass of the electron changes. It might become heavier, it might become lighter, it might lose mass entirely. In any of these cases, the result is the same. Chemistry becomes impossible. The electrons that orbit the nucleus of your atoms are held there by a delicate balance of forces. Change the constants of nature and that balance snaps. Your atoms would simply fall apart, or they would collapse into black holes, or they would fly apart into plasma. Complexity dissolves, biology dissolves, consciousness dissolves. The molecules that make up your memories, your body, the earth beneath your feet, they are all tuned to the false vacuum. Inside the bubble, they cannot exist. It is not just death, it is erasure. It is as if you were a sentence written in ink and the bubble is water washing the page clean, leaving the paper blank. What could trigger this? How does the ball get pushed off the ledge? In classical physics, you would need a massive amount of energy to push the ball over the hill. You would need to smash particles together with the force of a Big Bang to disturb the field enough. But we do not live in a classical universe. We live in a quantum universe. And in a quantum universe, you do not need to climb the hill. You can tunnel through it. Quantum tunneling allows a particle to pass through a barrier even if it doesn't have enough energy to climb over it. It is rare, but it happens. It happens in the sun every second. It is why the sun shines. And the mathematics suggests that the Higgs field itself can quantum tunnel. It doesn't need a trigger. It doesn't need an experiment. It doesn't need a catastrophic event. It just needs time. It creates a probability. A tiny microscopic chance that at any given second, at any given point in space, the field will spontaneously drop. And here is where the horror of infinity sets in. The probability is small, incredibly small, but the universe is large, incredibly large, and it has been around for billions of years. If the universe is infinite in size, then the probability of vacuum decay happening somewhere is not just possible. It is 100%. It is a mathematical certainty. In an infinite universe, every non-zero probability must happen. This means the bubble might have already formed. It might have started 1 billion years ago in a galaxy far away. It is expanding right now. A sphere of absolute death, growing at the speed of light, devouring star systems, erasing civilizations, silencing the cosmos. And it is heading toward us. Because it moves at the speed of light, we will never see it. It is the ultimate stealth killer. We are simply living in the shadow of the executioner's blade, waiting for it to drop. There are some physicists who try to offer comfort. They say, don't worry, the probability is so low that the universe will probably burn out before it happens. They say we have billions of years, but they are guessing. They are basing these guesses on our current understanding of the Standard Model, but our understanding is incomplete. We are like children playing with a loaded gun, thinking it is a toy because we haven't found the trigger yet. There could be catalysts we don't understand. High-energy events, black hole collisions, even our own particle accelerators. When we built the Large Hadron Collider, there were people who feared it would create a black hole. They were wrong, but the fear of vacuum decay was not entirely baseless. We smash particles together at energies not seen since the Big Bang. We are poking the ice. We are tapping the glass of the supercooled water. We assure ourselves that cosmic rays hit the atmosphere with higher energies than our machines, and the universe hasn't ended yet. So we are probably safe. Probably. But probably is a word that physics uses when it is trying to hide the truth. The truth is that we exist in a state of fragility that is impossible to comprehend. We look at the mountains and think they are permanent. We look at the sun and think it is eternal. But the laws of physics themselves, the very rules that allow mountains and suns to exist, are temporary. They are an accident, a local condition, a weather pattern. We are living in a calm patch of weather, mistaking it for the climate, but the storm is waiting. The true vacuum is waiting. And what happens inside the bubble? What does the true vacuum look like? We don't know. It might be a universe where gravity is 1,000 times stronger, crushing everything into singularities instantly. It might be a universe where there is no light, only darkness. Or perhaps most terrifyingly, it might be a universe just like ours, but slightly different. A universe where new stars form, new chemistry arises, new life evolves. Life that is stable, life that stands on solid ground. If that is true, then we are not the protagonists of reality. We are the mistake. We are the rough draft. The universe is trying to correct itself. It is trying to delete the glitch. And we are the glitch. We are the instability that needs to be resolved. This perspective shifts the definition of tragedy. Usually when we die, we mourn the loss of potential. We mourn the things we didn't do. But vacuum decay is not just the end of potential. It is the negation of the past. If the information is erased, if the record of our existence is wiped clean, then did we ever exist at all? In a black hole, there is a paradox about whether information is preserved. But in vacuum decay, the hard drive is reformatted. The history of humanity, the art, the wars, the love, the science, it doesn't just end. It becomes physically irrelevant. It is replaced by a physics that cannot even encode the memory of what came before. It is the ultimate silence. I remember watching the first atomic test, Trinity. We were worried for a brief moment that the bomb might ignite the atmosphere, that the nitrogen in the air would fuse and the chain reaction would never stop, burning the entire world. We did the calculations. We told ourselves it was impossible, but in the back of our minds there was a shadow, the shadow of the unknown. We pushed the button anyway. Why? Because the pursuit of knowledge is a terminal disease. We cannot stop. We must know what is under the ice. We must know what happens when we smash the atom. And now we look at the universe and realize that the button was pushed 13.8 billion years ago. The Big Bang was the explosion, and we are just waiting to see if the atmosphere ignites. We are waiting to see if the chain reaction stops. There is a theory called the Great Filter. It asks why the universe is so quiet. Why have we not heard from aliens? There are billions of stars, billions of planets. Life should be everywhere, but there is only silence. Maybe vacuum decay is the answer. Maybe civilizations eventually become powerful enough to experiment with the vacuum energy. They build bigger colliders, they poke the ice too hard, and they pop the bubble, they delete themselves. Or maybe it is simply bad luck. Maybe the universe is a minefield and intelligence is rare because the mines go off randomly. One galaxy is wiped out here, another there. We are alone not because we are special, but because we are lucky, so far. Does this make you feel small? It should, but there is a strange irony in this terror. If vacuum decay happens, you will never know it. The nerve impulses that carry pain to your brain travel slower than the speed of light. The visual information of the bubble approaching travels at the speed of light, but the bubble follows instantly behind it. You cannot see it. You cannot feel it. One moment you are here, thinking about your dinner or your lover or your job, and the next moment you are not. There is no transition, there is no fear. There is only cessation. It is the most merciful death imaginable, a perfect instant cut. So why does it scare us? It scares us because it robs us of our narrative. We want our end to mean something. We want a climax to the story. We want a final battle or a slow fade or a goodbye. We want the universe to acknowledge that we were here, but the vacuum does not care. The vacuum is indifferent. To the Higgs field, you are not a person. You are not a soul. You are a collection of particles held together by a temporary value in an equation. And when the value changes, you are just a remainder, a rounding error that gets corrected. This is the burden of the physicist. We look for the rules of the game only to discover that the board can be flipped at any moment. We build our lives on the assumption of continuity. We assume that tomorrow will resemble today. We assume that the laws of physics are constants. Constant. We use that word so loosely. We talk about the speed of light constant, the Planck constant, the gravitational constant. But in the false vacuum, they are not constants. They are variables waiting to change. We are building castles on the sand right next to the tide, telling ourselves the sea is tamed. But the tide is coming. It is always coming. Perhaps this is why we must live with such intensity. If the stability of the universe is a lie, then the only truth is the moment, the now. If the future is not guaranteed, not just in a poetic sense, but in a fundamental physical sense, then waiting is a fool's game. We postpone our happiness. We postpone our dreams. We say one day. But the vacuum does not promise one day. It only promises the present configuration. Every second that the Higgs Field holds its breath is a gift. Every moment that your atoms remain bound together is a miracle of probability. We are walking through a minefield and we have convinced ourselves it is a garden. But look at the garden. It is beautiful, even if it is temporary. Even if it is an illusion, it is beautiful. The complexity of a flower, the light of a distant star, the consciousness that allows you to understand this concept, these are rare things in the cosmos. The false vacuum allows for complexity. It allows for us. Perhaps the true vacuum is boring. Perhaps it is a wasteland of perfect stability where nothing ever happens. We are the exciting part. We are the drama. We are the instability. And instability is life. To be stable is to be dead. To be alive is to be on the edge of falling. We are balancing on the ledge. And we have been balancing for 13.8 billion years. That is a long time. It gives us hope. Maybe the ledge is wider than we think. Maybe the mountain is higher. Maybe there is a law we haven't discovered yet that protects the vacuum. A guardian principle that prevents decay. We hope for this. Physicists look for it. We look for supersymmetry, a theory that might stabilize the vacuum. But we haven't found it yet. The LHC keeps looking and it finds nothing. The standard model stands alone, pointing to the cliff. So how do you live with this knowledge? How do you go to work, pay your taxes, and love your family when you know the universe is a loaded gun? You do it by realizing that you never had control in the first place. You are a passenger on a ship you didn't build, sailing an ocean you can't map. You cannot stop the bubble. You cannot reinforce the vacuum. You can only witness. You can only look at the stars and appreciate that they are still turned on. You can only look at your hand and appreciate that the electrons are still spinning. We are the universe experiencing itself before it goes back to sleep. We are the brief flash of light in the dark. And if the dark comes back, if the bubble hits, then we played our part. We existed. We felt. We thought. And that is enough. The fear of nothingness is the proof that we are something. The vacuum can take our future, but it cannot take the fact that we were here. Even if the memory is erased, the event happened. The light shone. The equation was balanced for a moment. The darkness is patient. It has all of eternity to wait. We have only this heartbeat. Do not waste it being afraid of the end. The end is written in the math. But the middle, the story, that is ours. And it is happening right now. The ice is cracking. The water is supercooled. The bubble is coming. But it is not here yet. Breathe, look around. It is still here. You are still here. And that in the face of an indifferent and unstable cosmos is the ultimate defiance. We are the anomaly. We are the paradox. We are the impossible thing that happened anyway. So let the vacuum come. It will find us standing. It will find us watching. And until that moment, we will burn as brightly as we can. The equations do not care about your hope. But they also do not care about your despair. They simply are. And in a strange way, that is liberating. You do not need to save the universe. You only need to inhabit it. So when you look up at the night sky tonight, do not see a void. See a field that is trembling with energy, a field that is holding you up. And realize that the fragility of your existence is exactly what makes it precious. A diamond is just a rock, but a soap bubble. A soap bubble is beautiful because it cannot last. You are the bubble floating in the void, reflecting the light, defying the entropy. And if the pop comes, then it comes. But until then, shine with everything you have, because the universe may be false. The vacuum may be false, but you are real. The experience is real. And in the cold mathematics of eternity, that is the only variable that matters. This is the physics of the end and the beginning of meaning. The silence of the universe is not empty. It is heavy. It is waiting. And we are the sound that breaks it.